You are staring at your phone screen, watching the cursor blink inside a text message thread. You have a dinner reservation with a group of friends in exactly 2 hours, and you are currently trying to craft the perfect, believable excuse to not go. You feel a massive wave of guilt building in your chest, right up until the exact moment your friend texts you first and says they need to take a rain check. Suddenly, that heavy guilt vanishes. You sink into the couch and feel like you just won the lottery. If you regularly experience this, you might be that friend who always cancels plans, the one who is frequently tired or saying, maybe next time. But you are not avoiding your friends. You are protecting something. Let's start with the obvious question. If you hate going out so much, why did you agree to the plans in the first place? When someone asks you on a Tuesday to get drinks the following Thursday, the event exists purely in the abstract. Your brain releases a small hit of dopamine, anticipating a stylized, frictionless version of the evening. But when Thursday actually rolls around, the abstract becomes physical reality. Your brain has to calculate the tangible cognitive cost of the evening, from navigating traffic to making small talk with people who do not actually care about your answers. When that cancellation text comes through, your nervous system immediately kicks in, physically relaxing your muscles. Extroverts recharge by being around people, drawing their energy from the noise, the movement, and the chaos. But introverts and people who prefer solitude recharge in absolute stillness. Every single social interaction, even a genuinely fun one, slowly drains their battery. For these individuals, home is the only charger that actually works. But here is where it gets interesting. Psychologists call this optimal arousal theory. Some people simply need more stimulation to feel good, while others need significantly less. This is not a sign of laziness or fear. It is just exactly how their nervous system is wired. In the world of psychology, this is known as having a low stimulation preference. People with this preference do not need the outside world to entertain them because their inner world is already rich enough. When you take a brain with a low stimulation preference and add the sensory input of a crowded restaurant, the biological math fails. The clinking silverware, the loud background music, the unpredictable environments, it pushes your nervous system past its limits. Out there, the world is highly unpredictable, full of loud strangers and last-minute changes. But at home, your environment gives you a profound sense of control that you simply do not get anywhere else. At home, you control the lighting, the noise, and the exact vibe of the room. For people with anxiety or high sensitivity, maintaining that environmental control is not a luxury. It is basic survival. There is also a massive cognitive advantage to this lifestyle that nobody talks about. Studies show that people who actively enjoy solitude tend to be more creative, highly introspective, and significantly better at problem solving. Staying home is not doing nothing. It is actually where the best ideas are born. Those ideas do not happen in a crowded, noisy bar. They happen in a quiet corner with a book, or during a deep thought spiral at 2 a.m. And let's be honest about the cultural pressure we face. Society relentlessly romanticizes being out there. We are surrounded by influencers, party pictures, and a toxic live your best life culture that equates motion with success. But what if your version of your best life is watching a documentary, eating some soup, and having zero obligations? That is not sad. That is profound self-awareness. You are finding deep joy in small rituals. Your specific morning coffee routine, your favorite spot on the couch, or simply noticing the way the light hits the room at sunset. You are noticing the things that most people completely rush past. But here is where things get messy, and we have to be brutally honest with ourselves. Some people stay home for a much darker reason. Social anxiety, unresolved past trauma, or a depression that quietly whispers, "What's the point?" can hijack this behavior. For those individuals, their home becomes both a refuge and a cage. So, it is incredibly important to ask yourself a hard question. Do you stay home because it fills you up, or because leaving just feels too heavy? Because one is finding peace, and the other is hiding. If you are staying in to practice healthy emotional regulation, you are not missing out. You are just living differently. As we get older, our brains naturally assign a much higher intrinsic value to peace and stability. We transition from the fear of missing out to the joy of missing out. So, if you are someone who can finally turn down invitations without feeling guilt, who feels genuinely happy on a solo Saturday, and who would much rather rewatch a comfort show than force yourself to make exhausting memories, you are not broken. You are just wired for depth over noise, and for peace over performance. Tell me, do you prefer staying home, or do you think we are all just making excuses? If your home is your absolute sanctuary, type the word peace in the comments below so we can see how many of us are really out there. If this hit home for you, please subscribe. And if you want the psychology that most people never hear about themselves, hit that join button to become a channel member. I would genuinely appreciate it. Click one of these other videos to find out why you think a little differently than the crowd and what makes you unique.